I can't die. It sounds egotistical saying that out loud. Like I'm just free from death because I'm young. But no. I really can't die. It's something I have to live with. As a punishment really. It's a punishment for me anyway. The pain is still there. My emotions are still there. Everything. But it's all left for me to feel this. Alone. For eternity. I'm ranting again. I tend to do that quite frequently nowadays. Let's start from the beginning of my journey to immortality. There was a thing. Let's call it my own personal monster. It has been following me for as long as I remember. Growing up I used to think everyone had one. Their own personal protector. That's what I assumed it was anyway. Lord, how could I be so wrong? So wrong. It didn't affect my life much. I can say that my parents must have thought I was crazy or weird for mentioning the fact that I could see it. Maybe they thought it was just a normal kid thing to see things. Instead of being the usual kid who played with toys, I took up drawing. What I drew was of course the closest thing to me. The monster. Looking at the pictures now it had no specific shape. Sometimes it looked like an animal. If that animal were to have multiple parents who weren't related at all. An eagle? A tiger? A seal? No. It was a mixture of them. The next couple of pictures I drew of it consisted of the regular monster look. Sharp teeth, bloodshot eyes, a big dark figure. You know, the usual. Then the next was ... Well, it was something. Something indescribable. I'm not sure if I had seen nothing at all or if this patch of darkness was the thing at the time. My parents obviously didn't say much about this topic. They chalked it up to me just being very creative. And I was young so they wouldn't be too wrong with that assumption. But not even questioning the fact that I only drew one thing ... Maybe they could have stopped this from happening to me with just a question. They were good parents though. I love them. They unfortunately died of cancer when I was moving on to middle school. Both parents out of my life now. I had to be in a foster home and the monster moved in with me. Like my own personal friend that only I could see. No one wanted me so I had to be on my own for a while. Life went on. The monster didn't do much ... Just watched me. Showering, eating, getting ready for school or work, whatever I did. It was there. We never talked. I didn't want it to talk. I just let it be there. Didn't let it get to me. Well, until I lost my job, that is. I wasn't what you would call a ladies' man. I had no kids, plus I was the only child. No one to bear the name of my family. I guess I was quite the disappointment. I tried and tried again. Job after job, no callbacks. Nothing. Late on my bills, no one to help me, no family to rely on. No one. Would be crazy if I didn't try things in this situation. Well, try is a loose term here. I say that because what I tried actually did happen. I lost my house, my car, and all I had was the streets. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get a job when you looked like trash from not being able to shower due to the water bill not being paid. It's horrible. Thinking on it now, it must be even worse for those who lived in a situation like this for years. Sorry, left topic again. What I tried was killing myself. Again, the term tried is being used loosely. I actually went through with it. I died. I was now going to be with my parents. At least that's what I wanted to believe. The monster ... met me. It came to me after I killed myself, and there was the only time it had ever spoken to me. Its voice was like nails on a chalkboard. A fork scratching a plate. Your girlfriend screaming in your ear about how unhappy she is with you. Whatever unpleasant sound you could think of was there. You ... gave ... life ... up ... die ... while ... watched ... punishment ... started. Those words caused life for me as I know it to be hell on earth. No, maybe hell would be better. I woke up where I was right before I killed myself, and there it was. The monster was the closest it had ever been towards me, and without a word it killed me. Again I woke up in the same spot, everything just as it was before it killed me. Then it did it again and again again, until I lost count. And no, it never did give me an easy way out. This truly was a punishment meant for me. Sometimes it would completely take off my body parts, limb by limb, and all I could do was watch while I constantly bled out. Other times it'd just try new torture methods. He had some device that when inserted into my body expanded. I could feel each part of my body pull apart from each other. All the pain and terror was there. I was just not able to die. I lived through that for a year. Which is when it left me alone. Maybe out of boredom. Maybe my punishment was done. Well, his punishment. I say this because the worst punishment of this situation was the fact that I was immortal. Life went on. I had no one. No one to talk to. No food to eat. Nowhere to go. I could go into public places to charge the phone I still had. But that was barely anything. The people there with me complained about the stench, so I was forced to leave. The only form of entertainment for me was watching the monster stare at me while I stare at it. For years on end I tried to kill myself. Different methods as well. I hung myself, set myself on fire with whatever I could, tied a brick to my leg and dove in the closest water source to me, everything. Think of it, I tried it. And all the monster did was watch. Before me making this video I even tried to talk to the monster. I'm out of options. There's nothing I can do, no one who can help me. I'll send this to many places so someone can see this video. My life is over ... and it can't even end. And even as I'm making this video ... the monster stands behind me and watches. Someone ... please kill me. Please. When I was 10, my mom's health wasn't that great. She suffered from an unknown illness, which affected her respiratory system deeply. Ever since that, I had to live on my own. I walked to school alone, ate dinner alone, and my mom was suffering the same as me, she was alone. Every Friday I would come visit my mom to see how she is doing. The doctors say that her illness isn't getting any better, and she will die soon, which made me sad. But I always wanted to make my mom feel as if she had company. So until a certain holiday, I would do odd jobs, and then I would count my savings in order to buy gifts for my mother. It went that way, and I got a job at the age of 16. As the months went on, my mother was fighting through her illness. Every day felt like a never-ending war to her. I couldn't help but just look at her, and just pray that God would help us. But that never happened. Days later, it was Christmas Eve, and it was snowing heavily. I was reading, until I realized I had forgotten to give my mother a Christmas gift. I quickly put on my coat and scarf, and hurried downstairs. I was worried, begging for all the gift stores to be open, as I hurried through town. There had to be one store open. As I rushed through the closed stores, I was happy that there was one store left. But at very moment, I tripped, and the door to the one open store closed, and the sign that said open flipped to closed. That was when my heart sank. It was about 11 o'clock. Just minutes before midnight, and I have failed to get my mother a gift for Christmas. I started to cry, and whimper. Until I heard a spark. I turned around, and across the street, I saw a shop. Its lights flickered. As I saw it, I knew how desperate I was. So I quickly rushed across the street, and went inside. There was nothing there exactly, just a staircase that went down. I went down the staircase, and noticed, there was a large machine. In front of it said, "What does the person you want to give a gift to desire the most?" And there was a keyboard next to it. I thought long and hard, until I typed to become better, and to not be in any pain because of an illness, and then I pressed enter. It took about an entire minute, and then a large white fluffy stuffed cat animal came out of the machine. I looked at it, and decided this would be the perfect gift that my mom would love. The next day was Christmas morning, and I hurried to the hospital my mother was in. I surprised her with the gift I had gotten her, and her reaction was beyond happy. She looked at me, and cried tears of joy, that this reminded me so much of her own son, and that now she won't feel alone. That very day, We cried together. At night, I woke up at 10:45, to receive an urgent call from my mom's doctor. So I rode my bike to her hospital. But when I got in the hospital, the lights suddenly went off entirely. It surprised me. Was there a power outage? I used my phone's flashlight, as the only light source, as I ventured deep into the hospital. My heart was pounding because it felt like I heard footsteps, but not human, heavy, and fast. That's when my fear started to unfold. There was blood on the walls, and on the windows. There was also corpses of nurses and doctors. Their bodies looked like someone must have bitten into them. My worst fear came to my mind, and I rushed up the stairs to my mother's hospital room. When I opened the door, I saw a horrific sight, that to this day I cannot recover from. My mother was held in the hands of a giant being. It was the stuffed cat animal that I had given to her. It slurped my mother's intestines as it let out a demonic grin and giggle. I screamed, and ran. The stuffed animal cat followed me, and I ran with all the stamina I could, breathing, screaming, crying, until I finally got the hell out of there. I soon called the police as soon as I got home. I didn't bother questioning the police, because they saw the horrific footage happen all on camera. The hospital was a massacre. It even ended up being on the news. There were completely no survivors, and to this day, I couldn't help but still remember that stuffed animal cat, nor the store that I had got it from. This event has ultimately traumatized me, and I still can't look at Christmas as a day of hope or joy anymore.